Hi guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you a cool technique using Cindy Help's texture stamps. And so I've done a review on these texture stamps already, and these are the ones that I showed in the review. Cindy Help does have quite a few more texture stamps, and you can find those on Linda's Art Spot. I'll provide a link to that in the links below. So we're going to be using this one today, but first, before we use that, you want to have a sheet of pearl white polymer clay rolled out on the thickest setting of your pasta machine, and this is Primo Pearl White that I'm using. Now you're going to want metallic polymer clay for this project today. So then you'll take your texture sheet and you give it a light spray of water, lay your metallic clay in the top, and I just want to press down this bottom and give a light spray on top of the polymer clay so that I can press it in without problems. Now some clays do have a little bit of trouble with water, like Fimo and Cernit. I've also found that powder has a little bit of a disliking, takes a bit of a disliking to water, so if your clay doesn't tolerate water very well, a light brush of cornstarch in the texture stamp and on top of clay will work just fine. And when you are pushing your clay into the texture, you want to start from one end and work your way all the way up to the other end in a nice, somewhat straight line, so that you press out all of the air bubbles, because you don't want to be trapping those. Okay, just make sure that you press it in nicely. Then I'll give it a quick light roll with the roller. I'm not pressing that hard, it's just to flatten out the back really. Then I'll take that out and you can see we've got a nice texture. And you want to dry this up and the tile, just like that. And then you'll take your piece of polymer clay and you'll bring over a large cutter. And now this is the largest cutter from my large cutter set from Jessama Design. So here are the other two sizes, and I'll provide a link to that set when this is done in the description below. And you'll just take those cutters and you'll cut out the size of the veneer you want. So it helps prevent clay waste later on, and it gives you a nice square piece, so it's better than trimming it. Then you'll bring over some alcohol inks. Now I've chosen a few colours. I have amethyst, purple twilight, indigo, and I have one of the mixatives, which is silver. Now you can choose any colours that you want, but these are the ones that I have chosen today. So I want to start with the amethyst, because this is my favourite colour out of all of them. And you want to open the bottle away from your sheet of clay, because otherwise, especially if you've used these before, you can sometimes have little bits of crusty bits around here, so when you open it, that can speckle over your clay and it's not very nice. So just open it away from your clay if you can. Then I'll just dab a bit onto my brush, and then I will paint with my brush so that we get a little bit of an uneven colour distribution. So some areas I want to be darker and some areas I want to be lighter. Okay, and don't worry if that happens, that was accidental, but it's fine. And I'm just going to be painting in random areas. And you do want to make sure that you cover up all the white spots in the place that you are painting with alcohol ink, because you don't want any of those white spots. And so I'll just paint all of the areas that I want to, and then I will move onto the next colour. Okay, now I am going to move on to the indigo, and again I'm just going to open that away from the clay, and I'm going to drop a little bit of that onto my brush. And I'm not going to worry about cleaning my brush between colours, because it's okay if we get a little bit of cross contamination. And I'm just going to paint that indigo into some different places. Now don't be afraid to cross into the other colour a bit if you want to, that's fine. and I'll basically do that with all of the other colours. Okay, so I've used up all the colours, which is the indigo, amethyst and purple twilight. Now we are going to use the silver. Now you want to give this a really good shake before you start. And then you'll open it away again. And I'm not going to clean my brush again because I want to kind of get these colours a little bit mixed up together. And I only want a few highlights here and there. And it's okay if some of the blue peeks through, so you can see that it's almost like the blue and the silver are mixing together to create this bluish silver, which is quite nice. And I only want a little bit here and there. So a little bit more, and then I can show you the next step. Okay. There we are. Now we can move on to the next step. And the next thing to do is to get some alcohol spray, and this is 99% alcohol, and give your piece a good spray. Okay. And then give it a little bit of a blow so all of these colours mix together a bit more. There we are, just like that. And then I'm going to bring over a wet wipe to dry that up. Just going to bring that over and gently lay it over the top and dab. I don't want to be rubbing. Okay, and that should get rid of most of the moisture. So I'll just dab it a little bit more. I'm just going to take the end and I'm just going to rub along the surface here. Okay, then I'm just going to bring over my blade to pick that up, and I want to set that aside to dry for a little while we clean up over here. Just like that. Then I'll bring this back over, press it down onto the tile gently, and then I'll bring over my acrylic roller, and I want to gently start to roll. Now my hope is that we should be able to see that pattern still after we've rolled it. Oops. Knocked over my bag there. And now the alcohol ink is also going to crack a little bit. So I'm going to roll it out quite thin. Pick that up, show you what it looks like. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. Let me just put up the brightness a little bit. So hopefully you can see that there is quite a difference there. It's completely flat, but the veneer has the mica shift has stayed. So because of the mica clays and because of how we put the alcohol ink in. The alcohol ink was darker in the veins, while on the surface it was lighter, so that we can get this kind of ghostly image. So now I want to do is I just want to make a cabochon with it quickly. So we're going to need a sheet of translucent polymer clay. Okay, so I've got a sheet of translucent white polymer clay over here, and this is Prima, and it was rolled out on my thinnest setting, and I'm going to place that over the top of my sheet, smooth out the air bubbles, and this will mean that I can sand it later on once it's baked. And you make sure that you get out all those air bubbles. Okay, and this will look better once it's baked and sanded. Of course, you'll be able to bring out all of those mica particles and everything. So I'm going to basically show you how to make the cabochon quickly, and then I'll go about the task of baking it and sanding it and everything, and then I can show you what it looks like. So I'll just put the translucent clay on, like that. Then I'll bring it over to my pasta machine, and on my thickest setting I'll roll it through. And now it's thinner than my thickest setting, so I'm going to go down 2. And then roll it through again. Okay, and there we are, we've rolled it through. Now I'm going to go down 1 more and roll it in the opposite direction. So I rolled from this end to this end, now I'm going to roll from this end to this end on my middle setting, which is a 4. There we are. And that will just make it a little bit more translucent so that I can see what's going on. So now we've got that done, we need to make the base for our cabochon. And I'm just going to bring over some of that leftover pearl white clay. And we'll use this. So I've rolled this out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine, and now I'm going to fold it into 2, smooth out the air bubbles, and then I'm going to bring over a used plastic bag that I no longer need. I'll just place that over the top, and then I'm going to bring over one of my cutters. Now this is the cutter from my rounded dagger set, and here is the entire set, and that is also on Jessama design, and I'll provide a link to that later. But this is what we're going to use to create our domed shape. So I'll just press on the top to create our shape. Now I'm just pressing down firmly to make sure that I get it all the way down. There we are. Now just quickly press to make sure that we're not connected to this clay anymore. Nice clean cut, and then I'm just going to use this to gently bump against this edge, and this edge, and that edge. There we are. Now I'm going to bring over my tissue blade to just gently smooth out these wrinkles that were formed by the plastic. And I'm not cutting, I'm just smoothing. Okay, and this will be the base for our cabochon, or pendant I guess. Then I'll bring over my sheet of clay, and I particularly like this part down this end. I'm just going to smooth over. Okay, and then I'm going to pick it up off of the tile, and I'm going to just smooth from this end as well, just to make sure that I get the correct shape. Okay. And I'm just going to trim around it. I'm not going to trim exactly, I just want to trim close to it, and this will make it easier for us later. There we are. I'm going to fold over. Just like that. Because I want to fold over the entire shape. Okay. Then I'll bring over my tissue blade, and this bit's a little bit hard because you don't want to cut into your base shape. You want to just trim away as much of that excess clay as you can. There we go. So I'll just continue trimming all the way around. Just like that. So now it's fairly neat on the back. You would want to add a backing, of course. Some sort of, maybe a mica shift would be nice, but I just wanted to trim up the backing over here so that it lies nice and flat, so that we can now focus on the front. Now the shape's almost perfect. I just want to make sure, so I'll just use my blade to gently tuck in any areas that are a little bit out of shape. There we are. Just gently touch up the end over here. And then of course you want to smooth the top. As smooth as you can before you bake it. And then basically once I'd smoothed this off, I'll pop this in the oven for a full hour to make sure that it's nice and baked all the way through, and then I will sand and buff it, and I'll show you what the technique looks like straight afterwards. Now I also realized that a reason the clay cracked underneath over here, so I'm not sure if I can show you through the sheet right now, but it did crack a bit. That was partially because of the alcohol inks. They do crack a little bit, and it was also because I didn't condition my pearl white clay as much as I usually do, so it was a little bit brittle, and so that will also cause it to crack, which is quite cool. So now that will go in the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so it is out of the oven and all buffed and shined and everything. So you can see how lovely and shiny it is. And I hope the camera's picking up how lovely that crackle is as well, which is mainly due to the fact that I didn't condition the pearl white as much as I usually would, because I really did want that crackle. So that's what it looks like. So you can see what a big difference there is between that and this. Really brings out the colours, and the translucent of course clears up, and so it looks much better. But basically that is this technique, and so I do hope that this tutorial was helpful to you, and if it was, please do let me know, as that is always helpful to me. And please do check out the links below, as there'll be links to the tutorials that I've suggested in this video, if I suggested any, and also the products that I have recommended as well, so be sure to check that out. And as always, I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now!